Hello and welcome back to another episode of Crypto Genesis. My name is Nico van der Berg, and this is going to be another episode where we speak about Bitcoin. So over to the chart. If I go back to the daily, we can see that Bitcoin has been rejected. If I zoom in here a little bit, from the 55 exponential moving average, which is this green moving average right here, and that also lined up with our previous level of structure, which was this resistance zone, this green liquid zone that I've got drawn in here. And it was a clear rejection on the daily chart back down. So like I said in yesterday's video, I would expect Bitcoin to come back down into this green zone right here. Also still respecting these resistance levels running through here, this resistance trend line, as well as the middle line of our falling channel is still acting as resistance. So Bitcoin has a lot more resistance to the upside than it does to the downside. To the downside, we basically have a free drop all the way from where we are now, all the way down to at least $6,736 a coin, back into this green zone right there. So that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin on lower time frames and on the 4-hour chart, for example. I'm just looking for a reason to enter the market. I want to see how this 4-hour candle closes, and if it closes the way it is right now, I'll see that as a good opportunity to get short. I'll have my stop loss just above the green zone and just above this diagonal trend line. Probably at $7,520 would be my stop loss. And then, like I said, I'll target the move all the way back down to this green box. I will, however, take some profits off the table around this zone right here. So let me just draw this in. I will, however, take some profits off the table around this zone. And if it does bounce from this zone right here, then at least I've got some profit off the table and I'll move my stop loss to break even. So that would be then a risk-free trade to the downside. That's what I'm looking for. But depending on whether I get this move to the downside or whether or not I get stopped out, if I get stopped out with my risk management in place, I will not lose more than 1% of my capital, of my trading capital. Then I would know that the decisiveness is now to the upside. The bulls are back in the market, and that would put me into the short-term bullish, how can I say this, mindset, I suppose. And I would be short-term bullish back up to this green zone right here at about $7,900 more or less. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin right now. On the hourly, I also want to see if we've got a little bit of no, not really bearish divergence, but close enough. I do think that we are being rejected right here from our previous support, is now our resistance level. And I think that this will probably keep pushing the price back down to at least this low right here. So that's what I'm looking for with Bitcoin on the macro time frames. I would say, it's very possible that we do have the break to the upside for this. You could call it a bull flag or a falling channel. And like I said before, on the macro time frames, I consider this still being an uptrend. You're looking at the bigger picture here for Bitcoin. You can see that it's really still in an uptrend, and to be super bearish on something that's trending up like this on a macro time frame is not very easy. It's very hard to be super bearish on this. So with that being said, I am still on the macro time frame looking for a move back down into the $6,200 area and the $5,500 area. That would be on the macro time frame. Maybe look something like this. Maybe we come back down now, we bounce on this trend line, and then we push back down lower one last time, and then we see some kind of bottoming out and the continuation to the upside. Also, with that said, we could also go very much sideways between these zones that I've been speaking of, and then respect this trend line and create something like an ascending triangle on the daily chart here. and maybe have a breakout to the upside then. So on the macro, I'm not too bearish, but it's a good move on the macro. I mean, it's going to be about a 20% drop that I'm still expecting from Bitcoin. So if we go back to the daily chart and let's jump through the Dow Jones real quick. Dow Jones does look like it's finding some resistance at the 21 exponential moving average. That's to be expected though. Usually when we do break below it, we usually do test it as resistance. This also does line up with the 27,681 level that I've got drawn in here as a level of structure. Was resistance, became support, and probably will act as resistance right now. But at least we got that little bit of a move up. Like I said, it wouldn't be the worst place to take a trade. That's why I've got this little risk tool in here to show that if you open up a trade there with your stop loss right there, as mentioned, you should be up you should have taken some profits by now for 50% of the position. So for example, us being rejected here probably does mean that we come back down. So what I would suggest, if you did follow the trade, I would suggest taking some profits off the table and moving your stop loss to break even. Again, that's not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, so that's what I would do in that situation. We did get the bounce as I expected, so that's pretty good. Over to gold right now. We're still kind of moving sideways here inside of this white zone. It does look like this is going to be resistance. And remember I said I think we might go sideways in gold here for a bit before we see the break to the upside. Maybe if I extend these lines into the future, you'll get an idea of what I mean by that. There we go. So maybe we can see gold come lower into this green zone right here. If I extend this green zone a little bit further, we could see something like this. We could see almost like a sideways movement, breakdown of price, and then we see the breakout to the upside. And it's like I said, this would take us to about $16,000 a coin with the measured move for not per coin, per ounce, excuse me. So if we take this major move again from our previous swing low to our swing high and cut it a little shorter there we go. Yeah, that would put us actually close to $1,700 an ounce, $1,700 an ounce. So that's possible. That's something that could play out with gold, but it's reached our targets. We have taken some profits. If you took this trade, well done. So yeah, I expect this to be a little bit of resistance, maybe pop back down, go a little bit of sideways, then maybe a breakdown even worse. But this was a beautiful bullish divergence on the RSI as well. So a bounce was to be expected. Okay, so gold, let's have a look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq is recovering back up. So I'm not sure what to take from this. This could be a double top. That would be a double top actually. So I would be short term bearish on this a little bit. Short term, I would look for it to pop back down to this green zone here that I've got drawn out here. This is my target to open up a long position on the Nasdaq. Let's look at Nas 100. We're getting a bounce right now here. I expect that to probably be resisted at around the 8,369.4 zone, as we have a little bit of a zone right here, probably on the 4-hour chart. And let's go back to the 4-hour chart so I can show you guys what I'm looking at. Here we go. There's the zone. Actually, you could pull this zone a little bit lower. And that would be where I'll be looking for resistance. So if we do pop back up into this green zone and we break out of it to the upside, that would be quite fascinating. But this is where I'm looking to buy into the Nas 100, depending if I get a good reason to enter the market there. Of course, we could see a double top forming as well. We could see one more push up, maybe creating a double top, or maybe some kind of formation. We could be flagging out here and come back down to my zone as well. So a few cards on the table here that we can look at. And the UK 100, It's like I said yesterday, I would expect it now to probably come back down into this green zone. And from this green zone, I'll be looking for it to break out to the upside. If we do take a measured move from our, well, actually not even from there to there. If we do take a measured move and we did break out at the apex, that would break us out to about 7,458 pounds, I would assume. Or if we break out even sooner, the price would be a little bit higher. So it's going to depend on what happens in the next couple of weeks on this chart. I'm going to keep an eye on it. This is where I would like to buy in and get a good risk reward ratio from that. If we break that to the downside, I'll be measuring a move back down to these lows of 6,632 to about 6,545. So that's what I'm looking at in the markets. Just as a quick summary, I think Bitcoin is coming down short term. There will be plenty of trades to be taking during the time of consolidation in Bitcoin. And I think that on the macro terms, we'll probably break to the upside out of this bull flag or falling channel or whatever you want to call it, and that would take us ultimately back to the all-time highs of even 2017 if you're patient enough to let this play out. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy the content, please leave us a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you're a trader out there, stay in the green. Cheers. Bye bye.